Hi guys, thanks for watching the Enid Report. I'm Ramon Nunez. Today I have a special guest with me, Dariel Momsen. He's running for Garfield County Sheriff. The election is on June 30th, so if you are registered to vote, please get out and know your candidates. They've been sharing information online. Dariel here has been sharing a ton of information. He's had a ton of videos. I'm sure you guys have probably seen them. His signs are everywhere, as well as everybody else's really, but I've definitely noticed a huge amount of signs with Dariel. So, Dariel, tell us a little bit about yourself. What's been going on? Why are you doing what you're doing?
Well, I am an Enid native. I've been in Garfield County my entire life. Okay. I've worked for the Sheriff's Department for the last 12 years, and I have a unique perception of where the Sheriff's Office was, and also have a great vision of where it needs to be in the future and how we can move forward.
Yes, definitely. So I've noticed that you use this hashtag Be Involved a lot.
Well, the Be Involved hashtag that I use on our campaign page and for our political race and all, is exactly what it stands for. A lot of people take pride in our community. They love Enid. They love Garfield County. There is change everywhere in the world that can happen. But if you're not involved, the change isn't going to occur. So the first thing is to go out and get involved, educate yourself, attend meetings, attend council meetings, listen to the public, listen to what the citizens have to say. Go to special groups, AMBUX meetings, or whatever groups are possible, and just talk to people. And that's the first step, is to get involved and see where you can make the change and then take the first step. So that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. I also read another thing that I did not know until you shared it, but we don't actually have patrolmen that's from the county sheriff 24 hours. And to me, that blows my mind, just because if that were to take place where I grew up, there's a lot of times where I probably could have been in trouble if I needed some help and there was nobody on call, So I think, hearing that, it blew my mind. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. The Sheriff's Department right now has a limited number of deputies, but it's an adequate number of deputies. We do not have a 24-hour patrol schedule right now. Monday through Friday, there is coverage from 6 a.m. until 5 a.m. But on the weekends, or actually Friday, Monday through Thursday, there's coverage from 6 a.m. to 5 a.m. But on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, there is no deputy on duty working from 5 a.m. till 7 a.m. whenever it comes out. It's very vital that we have 24-hour patrol coverage, because a lot of calls come in, a lot of activity, a lot of movement goes on in those hours. And what happens for Garfield County is that if a call comes in during those hours, we have an on-call schedule. Yes. And I mentioned earlier to you that I'm on call right now this weekend. There's a deputy working. But what happens is when those deputies go out, and if I'm at home sleeping during those hours, then I have to get out of bed, get ready, put my uniform on, come to common knowledge of what's going on, and get myself together, collect myself, and then respond to that call. And there's a lot of time there that's going to go by, and it's going to delay the response, and it's going to delay our action to react to whatever is being called in. So that is within the first 60 days of me being elected. I am going to implement a strict patrol schedule, working with the patrol sergeants, and we're going to have 24-hour patrol coverage. And it really isn't that hard of a deal. It just takes a little time to sit down with your schedule and kind of overlap your deputies. You can still have the same number of staff, the same amount of people. We don't have to go out and hire 5 or 10 extra people. All you have to do is just play with your schedule, play with your numbers, and just make sure that the deputies overlap. Not every deputy needs to come out at the same time, and they all don't have to have the same home designation time. Just take a little effort, a little time to put into it, and I guarantee you that we can have 24-hour patrol coverage, and it is a better protection and better service for the citizens.
So I saw that you were assigned to the investigation division, and can you tell us a little bit about that? Like, how long have you been a part of that division, and what made you, did you get picked for it, or did they just stick you there?
I moved fully into the investigation division around 2018. But prior to that, since 2012, I was assigned to Drummond as their contract chief of police. They were a small town, or they still are, and they don't have the ability to hire their own police officer. So during that time, I still worked all the investigations for that town. And so I really kind of started my investigation experience then, but I was fully assigned to the investigation division in 2018. And what that is if you report a burglary or any kind of crime, a patrol deputy will come out and they will take the initial information, take the photographs, collect whatever evidence that they can, and then they will ultimately just go to their next patrol car, whatever need they have, and they will kick that case over to an investigator. And then it is assigned to me or another investigator, and then it will begin the follow-up process. We'll start looking for the suspects, looking for property. We have several databases that we use, tools that we have to do our job, but ultimately just we are designated to spend more time follow up and working a case. And a lot of cases can't be solved within a day or a week or even a month. A lot of it turns into a lengthy investigation, but that's what the investigators do, is they continue those cases and then they click them with suspects. They will work with other agencies, and sometimes those cases can end up in a different county or a different jurisdiction, but ultimately that's what happens. The investigators will take over the case and they will investigate it thoroughly and get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of like relationships and jurisdictions and stuff like that, how do you see the Garfield County Sheriff's Office relationship with the Enid Police Department here in Enid and other rural towns or smaller towns that have police departments? Do we have good connections with them? Do you see them getting better? Do you want to throw a little bit more nourishment into that, or what are your thoughts on that?
I really think that in every aspect of law enforcement, there's areas for improvement, nourishment. But all of our law enforcement officers, men and women here in our community, are great people. They're some of the best in the state of Oklahoma. We partner together as patrolmen and investigators, really on our own. There's just an understanding of professionalism. Again, there's always room to improve. Recently, they are currently working on, I say they, some of the elected sheriffs, board or miss, are working on starting a property crimes task force.
Yes.
Where they can a couple of deputies or officers from different jurisdictions out of our county can all partner together, and they will put an emphasis on property crimes. And that's something I support, and I'm all for that. But we also need to include our local departments.
Yeah.
Waucomas, Covington, North Enid, Lahoma, because a lot of the crime that happens in Enid, what happens whenever they get out of here before the cops arrive in Enid, they flee to the small towns.
Yep.
And you have to have that strong relationship with the small town chiefs of police and their officers in order to take action on that crime. So yeah, there's definitely always room to improve. And if I'm elected sheriff, I would like to have training days with them. I'd like to have meetings scheduled. I would like to start at least monthly at minimum to share intel and get with them face to face and say, this is what we're dealing with, this is what we're working on. Do you know these people? How are these connected here? And just throw ideas off each other, because more than one person makes a team, and you can really make a big difference that way.
Yeah. What do you see yourself? What's the number one issue with the sheriff's department right now that you want to tackle head on first day? Like the biggest one that's just pops in your mind.
The first thing that I will tackle from day one is I will continue working on the Jail Trust Authority. A lot of people don't know what the Jail Trust Authority is. It is a panel of members, 5 people of our community. The sheriff holds a seat on that, the chairman of the county commissioners, a local attorney, and then there's 2 citizens that work full-time jobs that sit on that board. And what that board does is it oversees the jail administrator, like the facility manager of the jail. The jail administrator will run the operations daily, take care of the staffing, the ordering, the purchasing, but that 5-team panel oversees that. And what they're going to do is they're going to sit back and make sure that the jail administrator and the jail is, one, flowing according to state statute, Oklahoma jail standards, federal guidelines. And the exciting part of that is I was part of the team as the policy manager to update the policy and procedures for that jail. So the biggest thing I would tackle is to jump right in, get on that team, be an advocate, use my college degree and my minor in corrections, and put that to work and keep that moving, because ultimately we did have a black eye for our department over the jail, and things happen, and we're not going to get into what was right or wrong, but all we do know is that our goal, and I know that you probably feel the same way, and so does several other people, we don't want it to happen again for our community. We're going to work together to assure that it doesn't.
Yeah, there's a lot of things, and a lot of people will learn about Enid Report and stuff like this, but there's a lot of things that we got to keep moving forward. I feel like we've been held back for so long because we allow other people to make us feel certain ways about things, but again, when you talk about the future, it's like that's all blindsided. We push that to the side, so it's exciting whenever you say, I can see the future. I know what we're aiming for. I have a specific vision of what I want done, and it's refreshing to actually hear that and to have you share so many videos and let people know the Trust Authority. I wouldn't have done that. The 24-hour patrol. That still blows my mind whenever I say that, kind of comes out of my mouth, just because we live in the United States. I mean, to not have those vital services there, it still blows my mind. So I want to go in a little bit about your childhood days and stuff like that. You said you grew up here in Enid, and you were really a part of the community. You graduated Enid High in what year?
2004.
2004. And whenever you left school, did you go straight to college, or you?
After I graduated, First, I'd like to back up and just say that I am very prideful of Enid. I actually grew up on the east side of Enid, and it is a great side of town. There's a lot of great people from there, but sometimes a lot of people look down on the east side of town.
Yes, I've seen it.
There is lots of people that suffer from poverty, a lot of single-family homes, a lot of children being raised by their grandparents, and that's really why I push, and I'm very prideful of that because although I didn't come home from a broken home, I still have my family. My mom and dad have been married for over 35 years.
Yeah.
It's just the part that don't let that stigma decide your future. So I went to work for an agency here in Enid that provides services for developmental disabled adults, and I was just kind of on the search of something else, more of a permanent job, more steady. And I ended up really liking that field. I got to show adults how to learn everyday skills that we take for granted. How to cook a meal, how to prepare their laundry, and how to prepare their life, pay their bills, grocery shop, things like that. But I still knew that I was called to do something more into the public. So I threw around the idea of being a paramedic, and that didn't suit. I actually left there. I took a side job while I was still working there for an Enid attorney, and he was a great guy. He is now deceased, but he was a phenomenal pillar in our community. And it was there I worked for him that I met a deputy sheriff, and I'm not sure if you know him, but his name is Ralph Davis. He came in, he rented a property from this attorney. He would pay his rent, he would do his business, he would see me, and he hit me up one day for a job and said, "Hey, I see you on the computers, you're working really great, you're doing all this stuff, you should come and apply to be a dispatcher." So I did that, and that's how I started my first responder career, is that I was looking for more. And I'm just
that drive.
I get to do that here where I'm from, and there's no better feeling. So when I started at the sheriff's department, I took a job as a dispatcher, and they are the front line of law enforcement and emergency responders, because they're the people that answer the phone call. They get all the tragic calls. They get all the calls of people in need. There's good calls where someone's rescued a dog and needs to know what to do with it, but also they're the front lines, and they're the people that you talk to first. And I took a job there, and in no time, and the reason I say no time is because there was a probation period where I was told, you either pick it up between this time or you may not work out. And obviously it was my calling, and it was my niche, because I picked that up and I excelled. And I take great pride in dispatching. I'm still able to, I'm certified still to run the OLEDs and the NCIC terminals. Those are databases that collect stolen property, wanted people, Oklahoma tag, vehicle tags, and things like that. I still hold those certifications. I can still walk into the dispatch center and work there just as a dispatcher, running computers, running the radio, and answering the phone calls today. So it's a position that I started with great pride. Within a year, I hadn't even passed yet, I started riding along with the deputies on my own time, and under the direction of Sheriff Bill Winchester. And he appointed me to be a reserve deputy.
That's awesome.
And what a reserve is it's a deputy that does the same duties as a full-time deputy, but it's just free. They volunteer their time. I also paid to go through a reserve academy put on by CLEAT, the Council of Law Enforcement Education and Training, that oversees peace officers in Oklahoma. I took a 240-hour academy, and that was stretched out about 6 to 7 months, because we went 2 evenings and then a couple weekends. So it was a long time. But during that time, I also continued to dispatch. I started riding along with deputies. I did training with the transport division. I went out of state to pick up prisoners. I served the civil papers with the court. I went with the K-9 department, watched them train. I found out really quick that wasn't my niche. It's a very important tool for law enforcement. Just wasn't my cup of tea. I knew that investigations were where I wanted to be. But my point to all that is that during those times of me being a dispatcher and reserve, I got a real feel for what law enforcement stand for, but also I learned the values of what the sheriff's office was. And for those that don't know, the sheriff of a county is the only law enforcement officer that's directly accountable to the people. And accountability is really important, because you have to listen to the citizens. You have to be transparent to them. So I learned a lot of the values and a lot of the core value of the sheriff's office back in those days. So I still right now I know where we stand, I know what our mission is, but also know that we have to progress and move forward. So I'm going to take those, hold on to those, but also integrate them to move into the future. The neat thing about being a law enforcement officer and serving citizens of Garfield County is I don't know where I'm going to respond. I don't know what family I'm going to be dealing with on a day-to-day basis. I don't know whose life I'm going to change, but I know that it's going to happen. And the best feeling, and I was just discussing this with a friend of mine, is whenever you see somebody weeks, months, years down the road, whether you saw them on a bad term or a good term, or just you ran into them, and they come to you and say, hey, you changed my life, and what you did made a difference. It's the best feeling in the world. There's no money or value that can be given to you for that, and that happens a lot.
Yeah.
And it isn't something that I think about consciously when I go out to do my job. It's kind of like a brand that you put on cattle.
Yeah.
When I respond to that call, or I work a case, or I get involved in a report, it's like I'm branding that with my name, and
you took care of it.
It's something that they remember, and they remember my name. I have people all the time remembering cases back from 2012, or when I helped them look for their stolen cattle, or whenever I help them and just give them guidance for their kid that was struggling with an addiction, whether it be drugs or alcohol, or just an ear and a shoulder to lean on. They remember those things, and really it goes. You can't match it. There's no dollar that can match.
Yeah.
Just the relationship that you build with people when you're a true public servant at heart. Just
throughout your campaign, what are some of the hardest things that have happened? Like, I know it can get a little messy sometimes in these campaigns when people want to throw things out or try to attack you or your loved ones. I know that recently happened to you. Can you talk about tell us a little bit what happened and how you reacted to that and how it made you feel?
Well, recently, you're right, there was a social media post that was put out to the public, and it did put a personal attack on not just me. And one thing you're going to learn about me, and the public may know, and if anybody knows who I am, I'm a bigger guy. I'm made unique, and I am made to be different, and I stand out. I can carry a lot of weight, and I as a public servant, as a sheriff, I've got room to carry some weight for other folks. So the attack didn't really bother me. It bothered the people that isn't running for sheriff, that isn't a part of this race. They attacked relationships of the past. They attacked just the human dignity, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Sexuality, and they judged people who had made mistakes in life. And not only that, they misled people and gave them the wrong information.
Yes.
They said that people were convicted of crimes when they weren't. And they just pretty much used a mudslinging technique for a campaign to take a stab at me, but really it hurt the other people. For example, the previous relationship or the person that part of that no longer lives there. They've been gone from Enid for over 8 years.
Yeah.
That person has started their own life. They're doing their own thing, and they're drug into this. My wife, there's no secret. If anybody knows us, we're very open about things that happen in our life.
Yeah.
We believe whatever road we've crossed or whatever path we went down is a lesson, and it can help somebody else, or we can use it for somebody else's benefit. So there was no secret about anything in her life. But the deal, what happened is that they brought it up. She did commit her crime. She admitted to it.
Yeah.
She took care of her business through the criminal justice process, all the way to the point of an expungement, and did what she was supposed to do. She's on the right path and changed her life around. And they attacked her because simply I'm running for office. But the thing that was more disheartening about the whole situation, and what people may not know, is that during the whole course of that post, there was only really one victim during that whole time, and that is our 12-year-old daughter.
Yep.
Simply because she's going into 7th grade. Anyone that has children know that is the time where puberty kicks in, and hormones, insecurities,
Yep.
judgmental people judging you or are picking because they don't know where they're at in life or what's going to happen or what they're feeling in their body. But I'm fortunate that we are part of a community. My daughter goes to school in Drummond. There are some great people, great teachers, great parents, and great students. I don't think it's going to be an issue, but you're never going to convince me that attacking someone for running for public office as an ultimate goal to make a difference by hurting their family or other individuals is the answer. And that's the disheartening part.
Yeah, it is very disheartening, and I can see that. And when people don't know, when they're not educated, that's what they go toward. They want to attack and make sure that you don't get where you're wanting to be and succeeding. And obviously you're doing something right, because they would not be trying to tear you down or your family. And I'm glad that you're rising above that. That's a good example for people that want to run in the future. This is happening here. It doesn't have to happen in Washington, D.C. It doesn't have to happen. It happens right here. And I'm sorry that did happen to you guys. I know you guys did rise above it. Now, let's switch it to a lighter note. I've noticed that you're a part of the World Harvest Church, and I've been learning a little bit about that, and that just seems so interesting to me. I want to talk about your relationship with World Harvest Church.
I see the change in my body posture
Yeah.
and my attitude, because it is a phenomenal church. It is a group of people that actually love people, that want to make a difference in our community. They have so many different ministries that give back to the community and that are involved in our community. And just being a part of it, we went there as a family because we were looking for the church to get more engaged in, but also for our daughter to be more involved. We wanted her to stay plugged in and get on the right path. And we had seen a video online and figured we'd go check it out. But the moment that we walked in there over 3 years ago, they were so accepting, so inviting, so loving, and the environment was just, I can't really tell you unless you go there and experience yourself. But no, we love the church environment. They have a phenomenal worship team that is just A+. If you really are looking to get engaged or want to check out any kind of new church and want to be involved in the community on whatever level, they've got ministry for children, they've got it for women, they got a men's ministry, they've got small groups, which is really neat. We finally stepped out of fear and we joined a small group, and what happens is every other Sunday until the COVID virus hit, we were meeting at one of the worship leader of the church. We chose one of the couple of worship leaders, and we'd meet and have a meal. We'd share the message from the week. We'd talk about it, really engage and dig in deep of what the message was that week. But it was just the time. And what they really taught me was to make it in life, you really have to have people. You have to. I can do a lot of my own. I said earlier, I can carry a lot, but without the fellowship of other people and a friend to call on or someone to engage with to say, hey, I had a bump in the road and I know that you've been there, or you are somebody I look up to. Without people, you're not going to make it. So I'm telling you, they have really challenged my family to step out of our comfort zone, get more involved, and really just dig in deeper to find our relationship with Christ, and then ultimately have faith and believe that whatever plan is ahead is for us, and it's going to be, it'll all work out. I do, on behalf of World Harvest, I do invite you there. And if you're not sure you're ready to go check it out, they have 2 services online. And just come check it out, because I guarantee you will not leave the same as when you walked in the doors. And it will be something you'll leave there with a seed that's planted, and you're going to want more and more. You're going to want to grow more and more. You mentioned the guy on the podcast. He is the worship pastor, the head worship pastor. His name's Kinsley Jordan.
Kinsley, yes.
He is an amazing man and leader in our church. If you even watched any online services, you see Kinsley in action. He has great things in life. God's working in his life, but he wants it to happen for you and for everybody else in that church. And I've reached out to him during this campaign and asking for advice and for just a way to go, or maybe even it could even be a little momentum. I need to get back in a little more of a
get back,
like an encouragement. And he's there to provide that. But he's not the only one. That whole church and congregation is filled up with the same kind of people. And I really do invite anyone to get involved in it. And I tell people this too. If World Harvest is your home, get engaged and get plugged in, because you never know what's waiting for you until you get involved. Earlier you mentioned, you asked me what kind of things have I experienced or what challenges they have been. Another thing is that the campaign season and this campaign time really brings out different sides of people. Emotions get so drawn in, and so it's like a tornado. It's everything. And one of the biggest challenges is working in a department whenever there's an appointed sheriff and a candidate working together. We're all professional. We all do our job. We stick to what we're there for. But it is challenging. And the reason it is challenging is because everything is done by rumor. It's, Daryl feels this way, or this person feels that way, or I heard he said this. I've been on the other end where you're just there, you're serving the public, you're doing your job, and the fear of change is there. And you don't really want to step over there because you don't know the unknown. You know what you're comfortable in, and that's a big challenge. And what happened is a lot of the employees either don't get involved at all, or it's a struggle on which side to go with. And what's important, this is what I want the employees to know, is what I did is when I ran for sheriff is I started asking the public for their feedback. I asked them, what do you like about the sheriff's office? What don't you like about the sheriff's office? And how can we improve? My team and I put together a questionnaire that's anonymous. Ask questions, ask what you know. It's a good questionnaire. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I encourage people to check it out. And what we did is we just wanted to know the perception of the public, because the sheriff is accountable to the people. And anything that I say on there, whether it be the lack of 24-hour patrol, the lack of sheriff service fees because rental companies or lawyers or attorneys property managers went to private process servers. It's not a personal attack on the patrol deputies. It's not a personal attack on the people that serve the papers. It's not a personal attack on anybody that I work with. It's simply how the people perceive us.
Yeah.
And what I want the employees to know is that, and I know this because I work with the best men and women in law enforcement in Oklahoma, is that I take that as a challenge. And I know that the people that I work with also, if you set the campaign and all this stuff aside, they want to be the best that they can possibly be too. And I want to stand there beside them in 4 years as their sheriff, and I want to say, what do you like about Garfield County? What don't you like about the sheriff's office? And how can we improve? And I really hope that the response is I want you guys to continue doing exactly what you're doing because you've met our expectations.
Yeah.
And there's not a deputy or a secretary or a dispatcher in our department, I know deep down inside, that isn't ready to take that challenge. So it's no attack on any deputy that I work with or employee. It just simply says the sheriff's office hit some bad times, some low times, but together, if we stick together, we can overcome that, and I guarantee you we can meet the expectations of our citizens and make one heck of a team to serve the citizens.
Thank you so much again for that, and I think that's pretty much all I have to ask.
One last thing I would like to throw in is that one of the biggest things I hear too also on the public is we want to know what's going on. We want to know what our community is looking at. We want to know if there's a burglary or a string of property crimes.
Yes.
The public wants to know, and I actually had a farmer pull me over just 2 days ago when I was out patrolling, and he said, we haven't heard any updates of what's going on. We don't know what's going on here. What do we need to look at? He said, and he took his finger and he said, because you have soldiers all across here that are ready to help you guys out, but we don't know anything.
Yeah.
And it's not a degrade or saying that anybody lacked to do their job. It's simply one of those things is maybe it's overlooked or somebody doesn't know, but it's something that I know personally, and it's important to me and a priority. So I'm not saying someone did something wrong. What I'm saying is I'm listening. I hear your voice. I hear what you need. I recognize that we can't do our jobs without the citizens and the people of this county, and I will make a difference if I'm elected to be your sheriff.
I hope that we can have maybe one more. We'll see what the future holds. But if you guys have any questions for Daryl, message us, share, or ask on our page, ask on our Twitter. We're on all social media. He's got a Facebook campaign page. I'll share it on here when I share the video. So reach out to these guys. They're wanting to know what's going on. He wants to know what you guys feel, how you feel. If there's something that's bothering you or you just want to talk to him about it, he's all ears. He's definitely made me feel very welcome and comfortable talking to him, and I think that's what Garfield County needs today.
Absolutely. And I would like to just close by saying I'm Dariel Momsen, and I humbly ask for your vote and your support on June 30th for me as your next Garfield County Sheriff. If you have any questions at all, my cell phone number is 580-478-5474, and I'm available anytime for your call. Let me serve you.
Thank you guys for watching. I look forward to next time. Daryl, thank you.